Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm creating another art journal page with a more intuitive style, and I'm working in my handmade junk art journal. The pages are already primed with gesso, and I'm starting by adding colors with the Neocolor crayons. When I have scribbled down the crayon, I go in with a wet brush and blend the colors in. That's what I love doing at the moment, just playing intuitively and using some easy art supplies and just play with them. I'm using a Derwent Inktense pencil together with some sandpaper and just add some sprinkles of the pigments into the wet areas on the page. This creates a super interesting texture, and it's different to brushes. Brushes are also pigment powders where you sprinkle them onto the page, but this is not as fine as the brushes, and it creates a more rough texture, and I think it's a really nice way to add interest to a background. This will of course also work with normal watercolor pencils, or you can, for example, also use the Inktense blocks in the same way. I also scribble directly onto the page into the wet areas with the Neocolor crayons, and this is also a very interesting texture because the pigment dissolve immediately and they give you a very grungy look. This way of creating is also a super great idea when you have no mojo. What about just picking out your Neocolor crayons, or any other water-soluble crayon will do the same job, and just scribble your favorite colors to the page, or maybe try those colors you never use and just look what's happening and what you will get. Here I'm making some more marks with that black watercolor pencil. It's the one from Faber-Castell from their Magnus series, and I love this one. You get a really dark line with it. And I'm just keeping that pencil very loose at the end, and I'm not going for details. I just let go. I also use the Derwent Inktense pencils and scribble into the wet areas, and from time to time I also dip the nib of the pencil into water so I get more pigment released. If you don't have an idea which marks you should create, I recommend that you get yourself a sheet of paper and create a collection of art marks you like. It's, for example, easy to just think about different leaves and then just sketch some leaves. They don't have to be realistic in any way, they just have to look a little bit like leaves. Just imagine that you are a kid and you just want to create some leaves or maybe some flowers, or you just can create dots or stripes or raindrops. I will speed up the rest of the process of creating the background a little bit because my video would become too long. When the background is completely dry, I go in with a little bit of background stamping, and here I'm using the vintage postcard stamp. It has some handwriting and I think that matches perfectly the background, so I'm just stamping this in some areas. I now blend a little bit of white gesso in. This creates I would say a second or third layer here, and this gives your page a lot more depth and also an even more artsy look. I'm using the normal gesso here, not the heavy one. While this is drying, I'm searching for some collage elements, and here I'm using just a piece of newsprint paper that I have gessoed, and then I just played with my watercolors on it. And you will find a free printable over on my website that you can download and use for collaging, and it has similar flowers on it or a similar look. This is also something I like to do when I am practicing for some art marks, or when I just want to try out my new watercolors, when I have some new ones. then I just use a piece of paper and play on that. And here I picked that newsprint because it's pretty thin, and I add a layer of gesso so the watercolor doesn't sink into it, and it gives you a really intense colors. And I picked out these leafy drawings here, and I think they match perfectly my background. I also, for example, clean my stamps on such sheets of paper, so I automatically get some texture on them. I am arranging the leaves on my pages and just have a look which combination I like. I use a glue stick to stick those papers down. I also decided to pick some pieces of an old book paper and just stick it to the pages. I also add some pieces of that background paper where I cut the leaves out, and when I'm not sure about some pieces, I just lay them onto the page and have a look through my camera if I like it. When you look through the camera, you get a really different view in comparison to looking directly on your page, and sometimes it makes it easier to decide which arrangement looks good and which doesn't. I went through my stash and had a look if I find anything interesting to stick down to the pages, and I found these cone flowers, and I really love the colors on them, and they match the background perfectly, I think. And so I decided to stick those down. I've painted these flowers, I believe, about 2 years ago or even longer. And I think I painted them with a tutorial I found on Instagram. I am not sure, but it's such a long time ago, and I have about 6 or more of these flowers laying here, and I think they are brilliant on this page, and I'm happy that I finally could use them. I have already glued down the word adventure to the left side of my page, and now I'm going to use the same stamp set and stamp the word free on this little tab that is cut from a piece of watercolor background paper, and I just stamp this single word to this tab, and then I will adhere it to the page. And that's my page for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope we see us next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!